Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a Chihuahua. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. To the right, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Draw this circle slightly smaller than the first circle. Don't place the circles too far apart or the body will be too long. On the top left side, draw another circle as a guide for the head. Make this circle slightly smaller than the first circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video to draw at your own pace. Inside the head, draw a curved horizontal line. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later on. On the top left side, draw a curved vertical line for another construction guide. On the bottom left side of the head, draw a small circle as a guide for the muzzle. Pay attention to the size and position of this circle in relation to the head. Use the construction lines as guides to help you position the circle inside the head. On the top left side of the head, draw an arc as a guide for the ear. Chihuahuas have big ears, so don't make this arc too small. To the right, draw another arc as a guide for the other ear. Make this ear slightly wider. Under the first circle, draw a long angled line as a guide for the front leg. Bend the line near the middle to indicate a joint and again at the bottom for the foot. To the left, draw a similar line as a guide for the other front leg. Under the circle on the right, draw another long angled line as a guide for the hind leg. Bend the line a couple of times in the middle to indicate joints. The middle of the leg should slope to the right. To the left, draw a similar line as a guide for the other hind leg. Connect the head to the body using sloping lines to create the guide for the neck. Connect the body circles using horizontal lines to finish the guide for the torso. Curve the lines slightly. On the top right side of the body, draw a curved line as a guide for the tail. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch two small circles for the eyes. Place the eyes on top of the horizontal construction guide and on either side of the vertical guide. The eyes should be big in relation to the head. Don't place the eyes too close together. When you get the sizes and positions of the eyes right, darken the shapes. As you darken the shapes, make the sides pointier for the corners of the eyes. The inner corners of the eyes should point down toward the muzzle. The outer corners of the eyes should point up toward the ears. Draw a few curved lines around the eyes for creases. The eye on the left should be slightly smaller because the head is turned. Inside each eye, off to the side, draw a tiny circle for highlights. In the middle of each eye, draw a small circle for the pupils. Shade in the pupils but don't overlap the tiny highlight circles. Draw a series of short strokes around the eyes for fur. Draw these strokes high above the eye. Don't make the strokes too long. Inside the muzzle, lightly sketch a small oval for the nose. Place the nose close to the left edge of the initial circle. When you get the size and position of the nose right, darken the shape. Curve the sides of the nose inward to create the nostrils. Make the inner tips of the lines thick and dark for the nostrils openings. Draw a small line between the nostrils. Draw the bottom of the nose using a couple of curved lines. Darken the top of the nose using short strokes for fur. Draw a small pointy shape under the nose. Under the nose, draw a line that curves to the right for the first part of the mouth. Extend the right side of this line toward the edge of the initial circle. Extend the line to the left for the other side of the mouth. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the line when you get the shape right. Use the initial circle as a guide to draw the rest of the muzzle. Follow the basic path of the circle as you darken the shape of the muzzle. The top of the muzzle should be close to the eye on the left. Darken the bottom edge of the initial circle to create the chin. Use a series of short strokes for a furry texture. Use the arc on the top left side of the head as a guide to draw the ear. Darken the shape of the guide but make the tip a bit pointier. Use curved lines on the sides to give the ear structure. Add a series of short strokes within the shape for the fur that's inside the ear. Use the arc on the right as a guide to draw the other ear the same way. Darken the arc but add a few curved lines at the bottom to give the ear structure. Draw a series of short strokes within the shape for the fur inside the ear. Draw a few more strokes at the bottom for the furry base of the ear. Use the big circle as a guide to draw the rest of the head. Darken the basic path of the circle to create the shape of the head. Make the sides of the head slightly thinner than the initial circle. Draw the left side of the head around the eye. Draw the bottom of the head slightly higher than the initial circle. Break up the lines as you draw the bottom of the head. Use the second line from the left that's under the body as a guide to draw the front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top of the leg wide and the bottom narrow. Curve the bottom of the shape to the left to create the foot. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Curve the shape of the leg around the guide to indicate the joints. Keep the edges of the leg close to the guideline so that the shape is thin. Make the tip of the foot curved. On the tip of the foot, draw a couple of curved lines to separate the toes. On the tip of each toe, draw a small triangular shape for the nails. Use the line on the left as a guide to draw the other front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Part of this leg will be hidden behind the body in the first leg. At the bottom, curve the shape to the left for the foot. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Draw a couple of curved lines on the tip of the foot to separate the toes. On the tip of each toe, draw a small triangular shape for the nails. Use the angled line on the far right side as a guide to draw the hind leg. Just like with the front legs, first lightly sketch the shape of the hind leg around the guideline. Make the top of the leg wide and then gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. The top of the hind leg should be wider than the top of the front leg. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Follow the path of the guide to create the joints on the leg. Draw the toes on the tip of the foot using a couple of short curved lines. Draw the nails on the tips of the toes using small triangular shapes. Use the line on the left as a guide to draw the other hind leg the same way. Sketch the leg lightly around the guide and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Draw the toes and nails at the bottom using short curved lines and small triangular shapes. Draw a curved line at the top for the visible portion of the top of the leg. Use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Use a few short strokes as you darken the body to create a furry texture. Don't overlap the legs that are on this side of the body as you draw the underside. Use the curved line on the top right side as a guide to draw the tail. Sketch the tail around the guideline and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Use a series of short strokes to create a furry texture. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines, it's okay if you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. Chihuahuas can have a variety of coat patterns, so you can shade your drawing however you'd like. For this look, use a medium value all over the body. On top of the nose, leave a thin strip blank for a highlight. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. For light values, push down very lightly on your pencil, then push down harder for darker values. Shade using strokes that go in the direction of the fur. On the head, the strokes radiate outward from the nose. On the sides of the muzzle, draw rows of dots for the bases of the whiskers. Use a medium value to shade the eyes, but don't overlap the tiny highlight circles. Use a darker value throughout the body to create shadows. Shadows will give the figure more dimension and volume. Pick a light source as you shade so that the shadows are consistent throughout the body. Here the light source is coming from the top, so most of the shadows will be on the underside of the shapes. Change the orientation of the strokes as you shade the body. As you shade, separate each stroke a bit so that the white of the paper comes through and creates a furrier texture. Leave a few sections throughout the body blank for white fur. If you'd like, you can add spots or patches or any other coat pattern to your drawing. If you have a pet Chihuahua, try to duplicate its coat pattern on your drawing. Draw a cast shadow at the bottom using a medium value. Shading can be time consuming, so be patient and take breaks. Keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the Chihuahua. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.